That's it.
Now, is my voice please? Is my voice clear enough?
Yes.
Big sound problem.
Yes, I think it's a
Okay.
problem with the video. And okay, may I start our session this afternoon? Good afternoon, distinguished guests, respected faculty members, students and colleagues, and welcome to our guest lecture. My name is Dr. Nurul Mufida Damri, MPH, and I am truly delighted to be your moderator for today's session. It is an honor for me personally to facilitate this event where we will talk about Hormesis, the science of beneficial stress. To begin our lecture, it is my privilege to invite the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Negeri Makassar, Associate Prof. Dr. Nurul Syariah, Master of Applied Science, Specialist in Neurology Consultant at IPM IFOCA, to deliver her opening remarks. To our beloved Dean, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Fida. Can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes, very
Yes.
good.
Yes. Hello, Professor Ratnan. How are you?
Hi.
Yes.
Nice to see you all. Yeah.
Nice to see you too. Thank you for your what is it? Your time for us today. Okay. Can I just start it? So, what time is it in Denmark right now?
Well, this is now 11:05 in the noon
Morning.
time. Yes, morning. So we are,
Okay.
I think, 6
Yeah.
hours behind you. Yeah.
So we have like 12 hours differences in
Oh.
time between in Denmark and in Makassar at the moment.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, yeah. Good afternoon, everyone in Makassar, and good morning, Professor Ratan in Denmark. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to this special occasion, the guest lecture of Professor Suresh Ratan. As we know that Professor Ratan is not only such a big name in the field of aging and healthy longevity, as I read your curriculum vitae, and wow. But Professor Ratan also a teacher and a mentor who has inspired countless of students and researchers around the globe, worldwide. And his the very first work, especially on hormesis and the biology of healthy aging, has changed the way we think about how to grow older, not as a decline situation, but as a process that we can fully understood and fully influence, and even we can embrace the process. And what makes today truly special is that we have the chance to hear directly from him about his experiences, his insights, and also his visions for the future in the field of hormesis and healthy aging. I believe that his lecture and his work will not only broaden our scientific perspective, but can also encourage us to think more deeply about our own lives, our health, and the society that we are shaping for the future generations. So I won't make this any longer. Professor Ratnan, we are deeply honored to have you here with us today. And on behalf of medical faculty, Makassar State University or Universitas Negeri Makassar, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to you. And thank you for taking the time to share your knowledge and wisdom with us. We look forward to learning from your lecture today. Again, thank you. And distinguished colleagues and their students, let us now give attention to Professor Suresh Ratan lecture. Thank you, moderator.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. But it looks like that the gods of internet are giving some trouble today with sound and picture. It's getting off and on. So if sometime in between it again gets cut off, I will try to connect again. But let's try our best. Usually it works fine, but I don't know what's happening today. Uh, but I'm very, very thankful to Birao Vilkasono to invite me to give this lecture to all of you. I met Birao 2 years ago during a 10 days intense incubator workshop on healthy longevity in National University of Singapore, where he was a participant and I was a mentor, senior mentor. Then last year, Birao again came there as a junior mentor, and then we had even more interaction with each other. And we guided a group of students with the Birao being the main responsible person for the social aspect. And then actually Birao's team won the best presentation award there. We were working on do we need mindfulness in our workplace? Yeah, so that's what brought us together, and I'm very happy to see that Birao is doing wonderful things in your university and increasing the interest of everybody in aging and hormesis. He asked me to talk about hormesis. Maybe I should try to share my PowerPoint also. Let's hope that will work. Uh, and I can find how to share. How do we share? Somebody will have to also guide me on that. Where do we share?
It is the green button of the share.
Yes, now it came up. All right. And then I find my presentation and I say share. And then I go to the slideshow. Okay, it looks like it has come. Has it?
Yes, it
Yes,
has.
Professor.
Okay, all right. So that is the title part of the thing. So hormesis and hormetins. So this word hormesis may or may not be new to you guys in the medical college, but this is what you know in other terms also, that biphasic dose response or U-shaped curve or inverted U shape or adaptive. There are many terms for that. But right now, for the last 25 years, we have agreed to use one term called hormesis for the biphasic dose response. So what biphasic dose response means basically is that the old toxicology curves, which you will be studying in your textbooks, like either there is a linear threshold curve that there is nothing observed, and then more the dose, more the effect, or linear curve, these are actually not true. Hundreds of papers analyzed by one of our main guys in this field, Professor Ed Calabres, shows that there is nothing like that. Everything is biphasic. Things, especially when they are toxic at higher level, they have a reverse effect at a lower level. And these have very serious implications in handling how clean the environment should be, what should be the drug doses, especially in cancer therapy. All those drugs which kill cancer cells at certain level actually promote the growth of cancer cells at a lower level. Yeah. And this biphasic dose response is called hormesis. Now, I have been working all my life in the field of aging. So about 30 years ago, we realized that hormesis, this relationship between damage, stress, and health, that can be very interesting topic because we always know that stress is bad. We always talk about that. Stress is bad, stress is bad. Yes, stress is bad at some level. But at the other level, stress is the principle of life. Every time I breathe, I create a kind of stress in the body. So I will be talking about hormesis, but first I will talk a little bit about aging, that why we think hormesis can be a very powerful way of approaching the question of aging and old age. Like these are typically the curves published in the literature when you study any paper in radiation biology, toxicology. The curves are always hormetic. Sometimes people ignore it because they don't have enough dose response done, or the effects are very small. So this phenomenon of hormesis has always been there, but somehow we have ignored it. Now, the people in the Hormetic Society of the world have been trying to define it further. But as I said, let's talk a little bit about aging, and then it will make more sense why I use hormesis for health. That hormesis, which means stress, giving stress to the body can be healthy. Yeah, it sounds paradoxical, but that is the way aging research is happening right now, and that is the future of aging research. So in the context of aging, like you can see on this part of the painting, now aging is that part of life or old age. Second part of life, our species essential lifespan is over. Now, this is another new term I know for all of you, essential lifespan. If we live longer than our species' natural essential lifespan, this second part of the painting, downhill path of aging and old age, will begin. And what is essential lifespan? Essential lifespan is the time needed in nature for a species to grow up and reproduce. Yeah, that is the main purpose of life from biological point of view, from Darwinian theories point of view. All species need certain time to be born, to grow up, to develop, to mature. That is called essential lifespan. And essential lifespan is very much different from average lifespan or maximum lifespan. Like essential lifespan for Drosophila, this fly on which we do a lot of research, in nature is around 7 to 8 days only. When it's born, grows up, reproduces. But when I bring the Drosophila into laboratory, then its essential lifespan becomes protected condition 1 month, 2 months. Then it's not essential lifespan. That is called protected lifespan. Same thing about rat. A rat's natural essential lifespan from evolution's point of view is 1 year. But if you do experiments on rats, those of you who do research, they know the rat lives 3 years or even longer. Similarly, for our species, Homo sapiens, our essential lifespan is only about 45 years. I know it's a depressing news. We are needed by evolution for about 45 years only. And that is essential lifespan. If we live longer than 45, which we now do, that is when aging happens. Aging does not happen from birth. A 3-year-old child is not old the way we understand aging. So first of all, this is a very, very important issue, that when we talk about aging, we are talking about that part of life where old age happens, which is beyond essential lifespan. Now, evolution has worked a lot on guaranteeing, on making mechanisms for survival, to live for essential lifespan. Yeah, there is metabolism, which you study in your courses everywhere, hundreds and thousands of reactions, this very complicated life. And you can study metabolism at genome level, epigenome, transcriptome, all these things you study in your normal education. But for survival, how long a person or an individual system should live, there is the very important part of defense, maintenance, and repair systems. Yeah, that is what is living systems have this special property. They can defend against problems, they can repair, and that's the list of the things I have given, right from DNA repair to transcriptional maintenance, to protein turnover, to antioxidants, to temperature, to immune system, everything. These are the maintenance and repair system, defense system on which evolution has worked. Evolution has really worked so that things should not go wrong before the end of essential lifespan of a species. And these things in the field of aging we call longevity assurance genes. These are the genes, longevity assurance, which guarantee that a newly born baby will be able to survive and grow and reach maturity in any living system. Now, it is a different matter that when we are bringing those animals into laboratory, they can live much longer. But important thing is evolution has created life. And these are called longevity assurance genes. There are hundreds of genes involved. We don't know how many exactly, but in concept, we call them longevity assurance genes. And another way of understanding this longevity assurance is that nature or evolution gives us capacity to live. A child is born with a green area, which we call the homeodynamic space or the survival ability. Things can go wrong in the childhood, but then it becomes better and better and becomes youth, which is that green area. Red area means things can go wrong. But this is a very dynamic process. In biology, you always study a term homeostasis. Homeostasis means same stage. That is totally wrong term actually in biology. We should never use that term. There is nothing static in biology. Everything is changing all the time, but in a very dynamic way. I am the same, but I am different from yesterday, from last year. So this we call homeodynamics. Homeodynamic space is our ability, and that determines two properties, which are properties of health, resilience and robustness. That is what health is all about. Resilience means first robustness means how much stress I can tolerate before I collapse and die. That is called robustness, how far I can tolerate some disturbance, external, internal. Resilience means how far I can tolerate and recover. So these together make us survive, and this is a measurement of health. This is what essential lifespan is all about, having homeodynamic space. And three important parts of homeodynamic space are stress response. That's where hormesis will soon come. Stress response. How do we tolerate stress from inside and outside? Can we manage it? If we can't, we will die or have problems. Then damage control. When oxygen causes damage, glucose causes damage, mistakes happen. Can the body control the damage from occurring or repairing? And constant remodeling. All the time our body is remodeling, especially the immune system, the skeletal system. There is turnover of things happening. This is what is life all about. And then aging. What is aging then? Aging, now I have broken that painting, only the second part, which is more like a downhill part. We have described aging in the last 60 years, especially everything. We know almost everything, what happens at the individual level, at a group level, population level, in the systems, organs, cells, tissues, metabolisms, DNA, everything. So there is no fun in giving those 10 lectures here. These are just examples that we know almost everything, what happens. We may not be knowing why it happens, but what happens. So I will just give you the central principles, what we have learned in the field of aging. First of all, aging is a very complex, dynamic, interactive, heterogeneous, and individualistic. These are very big words, but I will just try to say a very quick thing. That complex means that you cannot just say this is aging and this is not aging. They are all very happening dynamically. And when one thing happens at one protein level or gene level or tissue level, it affects many other things. That's interactive. Then heterogeneous means different parts of the body age at different rates. Yeah, same things happen in different tissues to different extent. It's not the same everywhere. In the same time, my muscles might be older than my brain or liver. There are many factors for that. And ultimately, it's very individualistic. No two people become old in the same way. Like I already said, no two parts of the body become old in the same way. So this is a very, very serious issue for aging. Diseases may or may not be very similar or different, like in the case of cancer, especially. Cancer is also very individualistic and heterogeneous. Same cancer in the different parts of the body can be different, but aging is much more complex. Yeah, that is one part, which immediately means that if I come with a magic pill, that I give you one magic pill and it will work on all parts of your body and all systems of your body, and not only your body, your friends and family, I am cheating you. I am just looking for your money, because there is no scientific basis on that. It will never be possible to make magic pills, so-called anti-aging pills. But aging is complex. Second part of the good story is evolution has not made any genes. There are no gerontogenes for causing aging. There is no program of aging. There is program of living, essential longevity assurance genes. Without genes, there is nothing in biology. But there are no genes which are killing me from inside or measuring my time, telling that, Suresh, now you are 70 years old and only this much is left, or that is the time to die. Science or biogerontology research does not believe anymore in programs of lifespan and death. Philosophies may think about that differently, but science doesn't think like that. There are no gerontogenes. That was a term I coined about 40 years ago, that genes for aging. But now we say genes don't exist for aging. But the fact is, aging is still happening. Aging happens, and sooner or later we will all die, with or without problems of aging. So when aging happens, this is the other way of thinking about aging. So I showed you the first two parts of development, growth, maturation, reproduction. The first part of the painting, that is where youth and survival abilities. But second part is the aging, which I call aging, is the shrinkage. So here, red zone is increasing, which means your chances of getting diseases of Parkinson, Alzheimer, diabetes, all diseases of old age, their main cause is aging. We can try to handle one disease at a time, which is very important. That's what we need, the medical help. But the real cause of all these diseases is aging. So can we do anything about aging? And aging basically means loss of health, loss of homeodynamic space, shrinkage of the homeodynamic space, our ability to tolerate stress, our ability to remove damage. These things are there, but evolution has not made them. That's a very important aspect to understand. Evolution is not making them go bad, but they go bad. So why do they go bad? That's the most fascinating part of aging research. If there is no program, if there are no enemies in my body, even then, even if I do everything right, things do go wrong. Why do they go wrong? That has been the question which has fascinated me all my life. And the answer to that is, again, the question the same way, why aging happens when we have all these defense mechanisms, maintenance systems, everything. It was more difficult to make a new baby from one cell, but then to maintain it for more than thousands or hundreds of years, or thousands of years, why is not possible? Here is a very important third principle of aging, which we must understand, that scientifically, nothing is perfect in nature. Nature or evolution does not work on perfection. There is nothing perfect. If you think change happens, if you believe that things happen, change, that is the proof there is no perfection. If you think evolution happened, that is the proof that there is no perfection. Otherwise, the very first organism, whether bacteria or whatever, if it was perfect, there will be no mutations. There will be no evolution. So biological processes are imperfect, like everything else in the universe. Quantum physics tells us nothing can be 100% accurate 100% of the time. That's the Heisenberg principle. That's the basic quantum physics. So there, if we are looking for perfections and other things, that's where other philosophies, religious thoughts, they help us to think about that. But science does not believe in that. Science will say there is imperfection. Evolution is imperfect. It has not made things to exist forever. It only makes things to exist for essential lifespan. For Drosophila, for about 7 days. For human beings, for about 45 years. If we live longer than 45 years, which we now do, which is a great, great achievement of human beings by medical science, by hygiene, by taking care of infections and all that, this is a human achievement. That's why sometimes I say that becoming old is a privilege, not a birthright. It's a privilege of human beings. No other animal becomes old in nature by its own efforts. Animals become old in the laboratories, just like now human beings, we become old and live longer in the laboratory in modern societies. So processes are imperfect. That is the cause, that sooner or later things go wrong. We don't need to find an enemy in the body which we need to eliminate to live forever. Our body is our friend. It is trying to live. There is no fun for the body or for the cell to die. Yeah, cancer cell learns that trick, how to survive, but then it gives problem to the body because the cancer cell is very good at surviving. It can escape immune system. It can low under stressful conditions also. It can do many things which normal cells can't do. So, but do we call cancer cell a very nice, healthy cell? No, no, no. Cancer eventually kills us. So, because natural process is imperfect, things will go wrong. Now, what can we do about this thing is? That is where the intervention story comes. That's where you doctors have to handle with the problems. Usually we deal with the problem against the problem, that there is something going wrong. Let's find some drug against this virus, this bacteria, this thing. But aging diseases, they don't have any cause. The cause of Alzheimer is life itself, because we live long, or Parkinson or diabetes. So cause of age-related diseases is life. So aging is not a disease. It's a consequence of living longer, which is a great achievement. So, but present research is all done based on those, that graph I showed a picture earlier, like finding stimulators. If something is going down, can we stimulate? Or if something is going up, can we inhibit it? Or can we interact? These are called one target at a time. That what is the problem, try to solve it. And that does not work. It has not worked so far. Because from bottom to up is very, very difficult to go. I can increase the telomere length. It does not make me young. I can reattain the DNA methylation. It does not make me young. It can help a little bit for that particular issue, but this is not aging intervention. So that is where the question of hormesis comes in, that we have to come out of the thinking of one target at a time approach, which is a reductionistic approach. But that's where most of the research is happening. But this is what the future thing is. We have to change. We cannot work on one problem at a time. We have to do something at a holistic level, at a whole level, that way, because aging is happening at all levels. Although it's happening a bit heterogeneously, but are there some common pathways? That's where we come back to hormesis. So in the last 10, 15 minutes, I will now talk about hormesis. I thought talking about aging was very, very important. Hormesis is the relationship between stress and health. At a high level, as I said, the red zone, stress is bad. It can kill. It has a lot of problems. But at a lower level, it maintains and strengthens the homeodynamics. It improves health. This sounds paradoxical, but we all know it. We all know that this is a good thing. So anything which causes stress, which body can tolerate and gives benefits, are called hormesis. And there are further subdivisions of hormesis. Like if you give very high stress, then you condition the system. But the stress we are going to talk today is what we call physiological stress. That low levels of stress given again and again is good for health. And any stress which does that, we call it hormetin. Now, what is the best example of that kind of physiological hormesis? We all do that after a full day of stressful work. Then in the evening, we pack up our bags and go to a place where we do physical exercise. What is physical exercise? It's the most stressful activity. It's biochemically, it's the worst thing we can do to our body. When we are doing exercise, we produce millions of free radicals. We produce acid, cells are dying. But everybody knows that repeated mild stress, like physical exercise, is actually beneficial not only on the muscles we exercise, but everywhere else. When I do brisk walking or any other kind of exercise, my mood improves, my immune system improves, my cognition improves, my cardiovascular system improves. Exercise is the best example of hormetin, a physical hormetin. And there is no doubt in the mind of anybody in the world who can say that exercise does not have health benefits. But whereas biochemically, exercise is actually creating stress, but the body is able to take care of that. So I don't need to give you more proof for hormesis. This is what hormesis, physiological hormesis, is all about. And why this physiological hormesis happens, that's where we have understood a lot at molecular level. Our cells have these major 7 pathways of responding to stress. If there is an oxidant, or if there is a sunlight which hits my skin cell and does some damage in the body, what happens? Hundreds of DNA repair genes get activated. Hey, there is damage. Let's repair it. And then if they can manage it, you get health benefits because the repair is always additional, offshoot. Same thing, oxidants. When you eat something which is called or oxidation, free radical, what happens? Straight away, hundreds of antioxidant genes get activated through these pathways. So there is antioxidant response, DNA repair response, autophagy, which is these days very popular. If nutritional deprivation happens, cells respond by increasing autophagic response, which cleans up the system. Sirtuin response, heat shock response. These are 7 major pathways which are very, very well understood at molecular level. We know exactly how autophagy starts and what happens downstream, how heat shock starts. This is how exercise works. When we do physical exercise, the earliest response in exercise is heat shock response. It's a stress response. And then hundreds of things happen. Same thing about a lot of things in the food. I will talk to that. So we understand in great detail the molecular biology of stress responses. And I hope you will also be studying that during your education. How different kinds of stresses result in defense response. Yes, if the stress is too high and continuous, those defense systems cannot work, they collapse. But if it is a short while, then there is a time for recovery and response, and if you survive, you live better. That is the whole principle of hormesis. The general principle, again, to repeat something, like there are stressors, they can be chemical, nutritional, physical, biological. They all have to do some damage. Radiation from the sun, oxygen when we breathe, any other oxidants, what we call homeodynamic disturbance at various levels. Then the body or the cell will respond. Stress response is always there, otherwise we can't live even for a second. If the stress response is too much, for example, if the stress is too much and the body is unable to handle it, severe stress, then a lot of things go wrong, even death can happen. But if the body is able to take care of those stuffs by its internal mechanism, which in a healthy person we have, that's where hormesis happens. This is the science of hormesis. During the last 30 years or so in our laboratory, we have done a lot of work using human cell culture as testing various stressors, which we call hormetins, heat shock, phytochemicals, serum starvation, hydrocortisol, and we have measured many, many things. So there are more than 100 papers published and several PhDs and MSc theses are written to show that this system works. And there are hundreds and hundreds of other publications in the world where people are now interpreting their results on hormetic theory. And examples of nutritional hormetins, yeah. These are the well-known example that things we eat in the food, a lot of them are actually hormetins. They are poisons. Plants make them for their own protection, but we use them, we can use them for our health benefits. There is a lot of work on this curcumin. Now, curcumin is actually causing damage. Same thing, ficetines and catechin, all polyphenols, flavonoids. That's the examples of hormetins. They actually cause the damage, but the body is able to counteract it. And that is why they are beneficial. Plants are not there for our eating. Plants don't like to be eaten by us or by any animal, but they are under stress and they produce these chemicals which are very toxic, but they can be good under certain dose. Now, that's why I call hormetins as drugs for healthy aging. Normally, we use the word drug against this problem or drug against that infection. No. Drugs mean functional, active things which can improve health. So in this path, around the stress response, there are chemical and nutritional hormetins. This is where dietary components happen. That's where pro-oxidants come. That's where nanoparticles come. That's where fasting comes. When we do a little bit of fasting, intermittent fasting or the other thing, calorie restriction, that is a hormetin because it induces autophagy. Same thing about physical hormetins, radiation, heat shock, spa therapy, those cold water things. There is so much data available about these things that how little repeated stress is good. Biological hormetins, even low levels of infections, microbes, they improve that's why too much cleanliness in childhood has given a lot of problem to some people because we need our system to develop our immune system. Same thing about psychological hormetin. Even meditation is actually a hormetin. When people do meditation, and there are papers published on that, and that was one of the things why we were forcing mindfulness in Singapore project where Birao was involved in doing some research on that. It also creates focused attention, a little kind of stress in the brain, and the body tries to then counteract that and you get benefits. So now in the last 1 year, I am developing more technology or more terminologies that let's discover new hormetins based on this terminology that hormetin A will be all those things which induce autophagy. And a lot of work is going on finding calorie restriction mimetics, for example. They induce autophagy or rapamycin inhibitors. They are all autophagy inducing hormetins. Then DNA repair ones, they will be called hormetin D, yeah, and hormetin E for sirtuin pathway, H for heat shock. So this is just like for vitamins 100 years ago, they created terms. I like to create terms. It helps me to think about those things. So this will be the future that we will be discovering more and more combinations of hormetins. And this is one protocol I have published that if you as a young scientist want to discover any new hormetins, basically using say cell culture or animals, then this is the way. You start with the test material, you choose the cell type which you want to test on, and then you go through one by one for which stresses are coming at one level and other, all the way, then you can discover new products, new combinations, which can then create new industry also. So it has a great potential for research and application. But my final message from all this half an hour of talking is that we have to consider hormesis, which is basically using stress. In the case of human beings, we call it stress of choice. Like physical exercise is primarily a stress of choice after unchosen stress at workplace. Yeah. So whenever you are able to choose stress and regulate it and do it repeatedly at mild stress, because a lot of things happen, like in exercise, things happen after exercise, the good things. when you are recovering. That's where heat shock proteins are doing their job. That's what when the DNA repair pathways or whatever pathways you have activated. So the final message is, in the field of aging, our target or our approach is how to maintain, improve, and recover health. There is no such thing as anti-aging. Aging is a process of life. Yes, if homeodynamic become too small, we start getting problems. But that is problem. Their problem cannot be sorted out by treatment approach. It can be prevented by improving health. There are many, many ways of improving health. There are many, many claims. There are more than 260 supplements available in the world, on which a lot of data is available from animals, but not a single thing is shown to actually improve health as such or improve the lifespan. But Hormesis, in my mind, is such a powerful tool which can improve our health. And if we want to live longer also, it will help you to live longer, but that's a smaller issue. Hormesis and hormetins are central to our survival and quality of life and maybe duration of life. We have taken many books and written, and because Hormesis is for health. The big problem is how to know what is health, but that we can talk separately or in the discussion. So at this stage, I will stop here, giving you all this information. I hope you are not totally confused, and you are most welcome to talk and discuss with me any things you want to talk. Thank you.
Very much, Professor, for that insightful lecture about aging and stress. And I believe many of us are very eager to ask you a few questions. So if you don't mind, may we open a short Q&A session, Professor?
Yes, definitely. You're most welcome.
Yes, and if we do have multiple questions, would you prefer to answer it one by one or collectively address it in the end?
No, it will be nice to deal with the question as soon as, because otherwise I will forget.
Okay, Professor. And maybe to kick off our Q&A session, I'll go ahead and ask the first question myself, as I'm very interested in this stress topic. And from what I have learned from your explanation, that stress in a mild level and exposed repeatedly can sometimes make us healthy. So, Professor, in that case, is it possible for us maybe to personally or practically control or modulate these stresses in our daily life? For example, as most of our participants are medical students, they do face a lot of stresses every day, facing their lectures and maybe their assignments given by their lecturers. Is it possible for them to maybe modulate the stresses that they face every day in order to actually achieve a beneficial effect?
Yes, well, that is a very practical and important question, because we are all the time being exposed to stress, first of all. So, and if we don't like that stress, it's not going to be good for us, because that's the imposed stress. So there are several ways of doing then how to handle that. First of all is also being clear in mind to define that stress. That is that stress important for me today, for my something long term, because I'm studying, I have to go through this process. Try to make psychologically, first of all, stress as your friend. It's not easy to do it, but psychologically we have made exercise as our friend. After all that stressful thing, then why do we pack up the bag and go to a place and give the money and get more stress? So that means if we are able to choose the stress, yes, the stress from the work which is not under our control, we cannot do much about it. We have to learn how to then manage our day-to-day life in such a way that we can either log off from that stress or try to cheat yourself by saying, oh, this stress is going to be good for me. It will help me pass the exam better. I will become a doctor. So there is a psychology way. Don't search for stress-free life. Stress-free life is death. There is no life without stress. But as teachers also, we should not use this as excuse to terrorize our students or to burden them too much. That, no, I am trying to help you by giving stress. No. That is not the case also. So teachers should be also cautious that stress which can be handled. Stress must, or the activity or hormesis must give you some kind of pleasure, some happiness in doing it. If it does not give you pleasure, it is not going to be good, not at all. So learn to get pleasure whatever way. Okay, long answer, but I will try to come to the short term.
So the point is,
Your voice is not, is your microphone on? Because I can't hear.
Yeah,
Say
we
it
can
again.
hear your voice, Dr. Fida.
Yes, yes.
hello?
Yeah. Yeah, your voice goes down. Somebody else spoke in between. That was loud. That was enough.
No, I also can hear her voice actually.
Ah, okay.
Hello?
Yeah, it is coming, but very low. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So the point is we do have to like the stress
Mhm.
and we have to accept it as it is and try to find a better way to accept the stress positively. Am I correct, Professor?
Absolutely right. Yes, yes.
Yes.
Don't look for stress-free life. There is no such thing as
Yes.
stress-free.
Okay, noted, Professor. And so I believe other participants are also eager to ask some questions. And you are welcome to raise your hand to ask directly, or maybe you can write in the Q&A session of this Zoom. And I'll be happy to guide the discussion. Oh, yes, we have Malika
Can
Gahia,
I
Professor.
ask-
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
maybe we go
Dr.
with
Fida,
our,
can I ask you something, please?
yes,
Okay.
maybe we go to our dean first.
Okay. Okay. Professor Rattan, it is very interesting of your lecture today to hearing your lecture today. So my question probably is a bit out of the context,
Izin
but
dok,
I try
sepertinya
to relate with your lecture.
izin dok, sepertinya keluar speaker dok. Lempar. Mungkin kita tunggu dulu masuk gabung Bu Dekan.
Yeah. Sorry, something happened with the Zoom. It told me the time is over, but that wasn't, I hope. Okay, but I'm able to come back. Sorry, Dean, please ask again.
That's okay. Thank you for joining back, Professor
Mhm.
Rattan. So I would like to ask probably a short question, and probably it is a little bit out of the context, but I try to relate between my question and your lecture today. So at the moment, my research keluar lagi.
Iya dok.
Sup.
Some super
Ini satu kali lagi kalau
Some
misalnya.
superpower is not happy with our connection today. Anyway, please, let's try again. Let's try again.
That's okay. Yeah, just straightforward the question. So
Yeah.
at the moment, my research, I do my research in the field of pain, chronic pain interventions. So how do you put the concept of hormesis
Mhm.
for the future, for the future context of chronic pain intervention? I probably want to do more work in this area, but this is such a big, a new things for me, new concept for me, the hormesis, and probably, and at the moment I'm doing my epigenetic studies on chronic pain. So in the future, how do you put this the concept of hormesis in the prospective treatment or
Yeah.
management of chronic pain.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, a very, very important question. One thing I can suggest is if the participants can switch off their videos, that will save this Zoom problem perhaps. Yeah, because I can see 115 faces and all the videos are on. So that can sometime help. Can you try to switch off the video, keep your, even the sound you need to, you're speaking only when you speak, then you switch on the sound. That might help us survival of the. Yeah, your question is very important from medical point of view, and I am unfortunately not a medical doctor. So when a situation reaches at the medical level, there the interventions are going to be urgent, imminent, acute. And what you guys are usually doing are perfect. Yeah. Hormesis works best to improve health, that there should be where there should not be a very serious problem to start with. Even in the recovery period of lots of diseases like cardiovascular and other, earlier people used to talk about they should take rest, but now everybody tells them no, they should try to be as soon as active, and even in the injuries and other thing. So I don't know much about the pain thing, because pain is still one of the biggest mysteries. There is no way to measure it. We only believe the patient or the person who says I am in pain. You cannot convince me I am not in pain. Yeah. So that pain and hormesis, I must admit, I have never thought about it. Your question gives me something new to think about. Please give me some time. Let me think about it, and I might then contact you later on. How to handle patients with chronic pain applying hormesis. We cannot tell them that no, little bit of pain is going, extra pain is going to be good for you, because they are having the severe side of it. But as you know, that the pain signal, they are actually body's warning signals that there is something going wrong.
Yes.
Don't take Panadils or other thing for immediate release, because the body needs to know that you are under some problem and you try to balance it. So that is a different story than the chronic pain, where pain makes your life impractical to live. But how hormesis can be applied? Would you mind if I don't answer it today, because I don't have the answer? I will have to think about it.
Okay. At least, yeah, I can get the insight that Hormesis has a specific place in the future for chronic pain intervention. I think so. Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, well then maybe you have to educate me on that. How you
Yeah,
think?
yeah.
That will be great. I will ask
Thank you
Birao to
so
make another meeting with you all. Only. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Thank you. Alvida.
Yes, thank you very much, Alvin and
Mhm.
Professor Suraj. Maybe we can move on to the next question. Maybe we have Malika.
Yes. Sorry, I
Yes.
can open my camera. Maybe
Yeah, Malika. Yeah.
host maybe open my
Hmm?
camera, please. I don't know. It's like you cannot start your video because the host has disabled it.
Ah.
Yes,
Okay. Well, anyway, but I can read the name of Malika. Is Malika speaking? So you
Yeah,
can speak.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Please.
yes, Dada. Okay. So my name is Malika Gania Fazila Sofian. I
Mhm.
am the second year of the Faculty of Medicine,
Yes.
Universitas Negeri Makassar. So please, I want to ask you something, doctor.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Malika. Hmm.
So my questions is, why is hormesis sometimes considered controversial and toxicology and risk assessment? That's my
Yes.
questions.
Right. Well,
Okay.
that was considered controversial mostly in radiation biology. And the reason there was, like this, if you read any papers by Ed Calabrese, who has given the history of things, reasons were political, because especially after the Second World War, when the atom bombs were thrown on Japan, then the radiation became a no thing. That radiation is never safe or never beneficial. Yeah, No stress is absolutely safe. Stress has to cause some damage, but its amount will tell when that damage actually can be managed by the body. If radiation does not induce any damage in DNA, DNA repair genes won't activate. If oxidants don't cause reactive oxygen species or cause the damage, the body, the cell won't respond. So that is why the thing was that they were thinking as if the stress does not cause any damage. Damage is the starting point. Resilience is the one which will tell what is the consequence of damage. So now, actually, in toxicology, radiation biology, about few years ago, Professor Calabrese wrote a paper in Nature called the what we call the tribute or the death of the linear curve, that there is no such curve as a linear curve. But this was mostly a political and intellectual discussion in the last 60 years. Now, most of the people, especially the researchers, do agree. But sometimes the doctors, like in cancer field, doctors still haven't understood that the same chemotherapy by changing to the lower dose can actually promote cancer. So these are social political questions, Malika. It's a very important question, but that you need to maybe read a little bit of the history of the field of hormesis. And Edward Calabrese is one name which you can search for.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor, for the great answer.
You are welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Malika, for the question. And maybe we move on to the next question. We have Putu Krishna. You can open your speech.
Okay. Who is going to?
We have
Hello,
Putu,
Professor.
Professor.
Okay. Thank you, Professor, for allowing me to ask a question. I have some
Yeah.
question. What is the inhibitor of developing hormesis in this era, and how can we educate people about aging and longevity? That's all.
Yep. Well, there has been in the last 15 years, especially, a lot of public education happening on these things. But again, society is generally stuck into the habit of using terms like antioxidants. Yeah. Antioxidants came into the mind so much that we call everything antioxidant, or curcumin is an antioxidant. These flavonoids, these polyphenols, they are antioxidant because they have antioxidative end result effect. So people still keep using that word antioxidants, whereas actually the things are pro-oxidant. So first of all, it's the mindset. The second is also scientists using the new words in their publications. It's like homeostasis. Everybody knows that biology is dynamic, aging is dynamic, but they will talk about dynamic, but they won't like to use the word adaptive, homeodynamics. They will still call homeostasis. Yeah, there is no homeostasis. So these are matters of habit. Then there is also the industrial thing, that whether anybody who develops new hormetic products or hormetins, how are they going to market it? Are people going to accept the thing? Only one industry has actually done that work, and that was cosmetic industry, the Givenchy. They produced a cream in which they had compounds which were actually causing stress. And because they had contacted me to explain how to explain the good effects by stress, then they produced a cream called Vaccine for Youth. They competed with like vaccination, but vaccination is different than hormetins. So cosmetic industry has used that word once in a while. Others will have to use slowly. Scientists have to use in our normal education. When we are teaching toxicology, radiation biology, teachers have to use this word. It will take time, but it's slowly coming up. But there is nothing more resistance, because we want to label stress as enemy all the time, because having an enemy makes life easy. When there is no enemy, but still I have the problem, then the life is more actually challenging. So how do I, if I have the enemy inside the body, then I can have anti-aging missiles. Yeah. Enemy makes life easy. But when there is no enemy, but the friend is having problems, then the approach takes time. But your question is very important and I appreciate it. We need to educate right from our school, not school education, at least from the medical education, university education, and public talk. I always talk about hormesis in big public lectures, and maybe it will work sometime. Okay.
Okay, thank you for your time, Professor. I'm surprised to see you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can. I was thinking about Birao that maybe because you have been more than 100 people here, if you want, I can make a compact PDF of all my slides as a one PDF file and send it to Dr. Birao, and he can then give it around to everybody who wants. So then you will have all the notes also. Is that okay, Birao? Will you like that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
We-
So I will make the PDF of that all my PowerPoint slides and make a smaller version, and then you can just distribute it to anybody who wants to remember this lecture. But any more questions? No problem. I'm still here. I have to go, but in 1 hour or so. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, Professor. Is it possible to have maybe one or two more
Maybe
questions?
Yes.
Yes. So the next question will be from Faiz.
Mhm.
Please open your audio.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to ask any question. First of all, my name is Muhammad Faiz Amaniti, the third
Yes.
semester of Faculty of Medicine, University of Makassar. I'm
Mhm.
reading a lot of journal about the slashing, but this is make me interesting.
Yeah.
How are intermittent fasting considered as activities that cause enough stress for the body? And how is the classification of the stress?
A classification of the stress into mild and severe, that is perhaps the most difficult question to answer, because although there are methods available, how do we determine which level of one kind of stress will be good for cells, for example? Yeah. Is that part of the question you asked?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because
Yes, sir.
because the definition of mild cannot be a universal one. Even in my own body, from a day-to-day variation, the amount of exercise I can enjoy doing today will be maybe harmful tomorrow if I have some other flu, yeah, or some other or even depression. So mild definition changes. Scientifically, it's possible to answer. So far, what we have found, the answer is where the cell takes, say, induction 30% of maximum response. That's how we found in the heat shock studies, that if we give heat shock and the heat shock proteins are produced after 1 hour of 42 degrees, at what temperature it will be only 30%. And that because you have to repeat the stress. Cells can tolerate high stress once or twice, but to do repeated ones, you have to come down much below the maximum response. So in heat shock research, we call it 30% response. We don't know what will be the correct exercise response or for the food response. But all these things can be answered if we do research. We don't have ready-made answer for all kinds of hormetins in all kind of situations. But that is the biggest research project, which can be done. All of you 100 people who are listening today can be brought to do that research if somebody gives us a lot of resources. But that's a very important question, and I'm happy that you raised that.
Yes. Thank you very much, Professor Faiz. Do you have any further questions?
No, it's meant a lot for me. I hope it will be good for my future.
Yeah.
Thank you, Faiz, and thank you, Professor, for the clear and inspiring answers, and thank you, everyone, for such great questions. But I believe the time we have today is very limited, so we can only accommodate a few questions. And we truly appreciate your enthusiasm, and we hope there will be more opportunities for us to discuss in the future. And as we come to the end of this guest lecture, I would once again like to extend our deepest gratitude to Professor Suresh for generously sharing your knowledge with us today. And Professor, as a small token of our gratitude, we are very honored to present to you a certificate of appreciation. And
Hey.
to commemorate this moment, maybe we would like to take a digital photo of you, Professor, receiving the certificate from us. And yes, maybe we can
Okay.
show the certificate first.
And if any students want to communicate with me, they can always write me the email, etc. They can take
Yes.
the, yeah. Okay. So,
Yes, Professor. So if I may, could you please smile to the camera in 3, 2,
Yeah.
1, cheers. Thank you, Professor. And before we wrap up today's lecture, maybe we have a digital group together, all of us.
Y-
Yeah,
yes,
maybe
if you want,
we can
yeah.
start from the first screen. Maybe we can all open our cameras. Okay, the first
Open cam
screen,
semuanya.
the first screen in 3, 2, 1. Okay, and now the second screen.
Yeah, you will have to
In
have, I think,
3,
5 screens. Yes.
yeah, in 3, 2, 1. Okay, and now the third screen in 3, 2, 1. And now the last screen in 3, 2, 1. Cheers. Okay, thank you, everyone. And
Great.
finally,
Oh yeah.
we come to the end of
Eh?
this lecture. And
Bisa salat maghrib dulu. Sudah akan.
last but not least, I would also like to thank our beloved dean for her continuous support, for making this event possible, and also to the faculty members, students, and all participants who are spending your afternoon with us. It has been my privilege to serve as your moderator. I hope this session has been both insightful and inspiring. And with that, I officially close our guest lecture. Good afternoon, and see you at our next academic event. Once again, thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Hi,
Professor
Viral.
Suresh.
So
Thank you, Professor
wonderful.
Rattan.
Wonderful. So
Thank you so
nice of
much.
you.
Have a nice
Well,
day.
yeah, we had a little
Thank you,
bit of
Professor.
hormetic
Thank
stress,
you for your time.
technological.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. I hope
Have a nice
everybody
day.
enjoyed it. Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Mister.
Terima kasih semuanya. Good job.
Ya. Kasih
Next
Bu
time
rekan.
kalau
Ya.
next time kalau mahasiswanya tidak usah sebut fakultasnya. So just think like this is the general audience. Okay, nah, thank you, Dr. Nono, thank you, Dr. Vida, thank you, my distinguished colleagues and their students. Thank you for your attendance. It's a good, what is it? It's a good job for you. Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Nanti udah sebenarnya
Terima kasih banyak.
Izin belief ya, masih praktek soalnya.
Baik, Dok.
Ya.
Dok.
Terima kasih,
Terima kasih,
Dok.
dokter.
Terima kasih, Dok.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Siap.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Kak.
Tapi jangan lupa absen lah guys. Kasih tau yang lain juga.
Depannya. Coba itu tadi waktu susah sekali jaringanku ngelek apa saya dibilang. Ini. Belum sudah sampai. Ya.